Ready for action.
Prepare for an attack from the east.
For the fort! Smasher! Big guy! Smasher spotted! Spotted! Smash it! Back off, big guy. Give up, creep. Smasher. What chase, ninja? Come and get it, Smash. Yo, smash it. You're messing with the wrong fort. You sure you want to do this? Want to get that smasher, Commander? Smasher spotted! Hey, Smash!
We have a break in the action. Another wave coming soon from the west.
Let's get going.
Don't get excited, y'all gonna get a turn.
Ready for action.
Look out!
A little help here. They got me! All right, back in action.
Flinger!
Flinger spotted! Flinger!
Destroyer of storms! Husk artillery! They're dropping husk bombs!
Help!
No Kansas.
You're the best. Flinger!
Get ready. Hate those guys!
Tanker!
Airborne husk! That's right. No!
I'm down. Help!
Not today, Dad.
Ow!
Soul sucker!
They got me! Thanks. Tanker spotted! Oh, man! Thanks for the saves.
Oh, for me, it sucks.
Blind horse! Enemies down!
We have a break in the action. Another wave coming soon. Prepare for an attack from the south. For the fort! Hunt! Hunt!
Big guy.
Faster!
Wanna get that smasher commander?
Get out of here! For the fort!
Little smash is messing with the wrong force. Back off, big guy. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Smash!
got you smash your second empire. Yeah.
Wow, it disconnected me.
Yeah, there's two of them up here. Another two.
I'll be back. I'll rejoin. It kicked me. I don't know how. Alright. Join game. Makes no sense. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully.
Master Forto. Hiya!
Timed out. That's cool. I wasted all my ammo and stuff just to get kicked out. Wow. Save the world. It's not the move right now. Crazy. I wouldn't be done with Twine. I had so much ammo, so much potential just for it to just go down. Unreal. Like a lot of the games that I think I do play, I think that they like if I would be objective and say that it's completely 100% a good game, relatively speaking, some games are great games. They just have a lot of issues. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I could play Mortal Kombat right now, but, yeah, I don't know about that one. And it's not like I'm even bad at Mortal Kombat, but the game is broke. It's like, why would you make a lot of these characters and stuff like that? Mortal Kombat, in all honesty, with the frame data being the way it is, the game is pretty much an unfinished product from beginning to end. And I've never, I mean, I tried to upload it, but And I got a few matches and stuff like that, but otherwise, have I played it recently, a match here and there? Yeah, I have. I mean, I just don't like it as much, but I'm not bad. I'm not negative by any means. I got like at least like 30 more wins than losses, but I think my record's like 150 to like 120 something. I mean, it could be better, but I'm not like a Mortal Kombat tryhard. A lot of my friends who said face me on Mortal Kombat said I'm a tryhard, but I mean, I take it with a grain of salt. Because I don't really be sitting out here really watching combo vids and stuff like that. I really don't have a main. I'm like a Raiden main, but Raiden's terrible. He has been terrible, all things considered. Because how do you have a... All of this frame data is pretty much not even minus, so basically what that means is that anytime that you try to do a move, or try to do a full combo with Raiden, you're going to get punished 100% of the time. And then if you're facing somebody like Liu Kang has to get up close and personal. And by the time everything is said and done, Liu Kang can get like what? Maybe 2 to 3 crushing blows off of maybe a full screen, even off of a counter and a throw, and then his dragon kick. Between all the characters, I think Liu Kang is probably... He's definitely top 3. He's top 3. I'm gonna say is Johnny Cage. Joker's number 1 because he has one of the best damage potential in the game by far. Then it goes to what you call it. Definitely probably Johnny Cage and Liu Kang. Liu Kang, I say he's a contender for 2. All things considered. I gotta go get that. I mean, he got stuff. This right here is a fail. Play this game a lot. It depends. It depends on what type of mood I'm in, particularly. I think the game is straight, like battle royale, straight. To say the world, they have a whole lot of issues, and I feel like a lot of games that I purchased have done a horrible job with certain stuff to get to a point where it's just like, no. Bruh. Oh my god. It's almost like I'm playing Blitz right now. How fast this storm is moving, and then the fact, just the mere fact of how this is playing out. And I'm not a huge fan of Blitz as is. The new storm and the way just Fortnite is just moving now, it doesn't make any sense. Relatively speaking, I mean, I don't know. I could play a little bit more characters in Mortal Kombat and try to stream it, but Mortal Kombat is not really I mean, my channel's not made for kids. I feel like it's a mixture. I feel like it's teenagers basically, or people like video games. And all things considered, new content on Mortal Kombat, I feel like it's hard for people to be 100% Mortal Kombat creators because of what they're trying to be. Because the moment that Mortal Kombat and stuff gets demonetized and people not making money, I mean, I don't live to make money on YouTube. I would know how to make money outside of YouTube, more money than YouTube, and stuff like that. But by just like, I'm a business major and stuff like that. No, people talking about the average business job stuff is like what, $50,000 after college. The average, you know, like amount of money you can get out of college is $50,000. And if this guy gets knocked out, I'm about to leave the game. Yeah, I'm about to leave the game. There's no point. In all honesty, it is no point for me to play a game for a majority of the time. I don't know. Like nowadays, when I actually play a game, it might be a good point in time where I just be like, I'm over it. Like, in the traditional sense where, like, you know how you playing a game, you're enjoying it, but there might be another game. Like, another thing I think I need to realize also too is that if I'm not really enjoying a game, I'm not even saying I'm not enjoying a game, but if a game has nothing to offer and it's behind a paywall, like new content, chances are they're going to stop supporting it. They're going to pull the plug on it. And I feel like that's what Mortal Kombat is. They pulled the plug on it. True, I like the characters and stuff like that, but I understand fighting games and stuff have a learning curve, but at the same time, you shouldn't have to keep on playing a game that is from the get-go broken. You have low-tier characters, and they're very bad, like Kotal Kahn. Kotal Kahn is one of the worst characters in Mortal Kombat 11, by far. He doesn't have access to certain stuff. I feel like one of his variations does have access to a projectile. You get a crushing blow out of it, but even with that, crushing blows in itself on Mortal Kombat don't make any sense. That literally ruined the game, and besides, the access to the fatal blow is also dumbing down the game. You can get a free 30 between, I would say, a 31 to 33% damage on somebody. I feel like if you miss an X-ray or something like that before, you still have access to it, so it'd be a broken mechanic. But I feel like the way MK11 is working too, they give a whole lot of people access to certain stuff, and I'm glad that they like really removed some of the stuff, or some of the bull that was going on. Like people using Terminator's armor move. The only way you're going to do damage through that is basically, I know it costs 2 bars, 2 offensive bars and 2 defensive, but that was just way too OP. The only way you're going to do damage is what you call it, it's by a fatal blow.
What it is?
Wait, where'd you go to?
Andy's house.
Andy's house?
Yeah.
And you. That's where y'all went to?
Yeah.
What happened? Oh, okay. She making spaghetti?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Mom gave me a mad plate from you. I think it was dad.
Oh.
That was left. I said, "Look, smells like
I.
that smells like me." My brother was like, "Bro."
You stupid.
That was wrong one ever said. That is
Noob. I mean that kill right there should have been mine. I'm not even mad. And there's just a certain point where I think that games and stuff like that, if you gotta, like a lot of games and stuff like that, I realize they're going for $40 or more. Hey man, what are you doing, dog? You be destroying stuff without us? You got some common sense at least. You got some decency. So this guy, he's decent. Come on. Come on now. Alright. Savage. I think that.
I watched the Minion Dying video.
What do you think about it?
I was hyped.
I think she's definitely.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I be over it, but no, I like the video. And she was saying on my box, it take time. I'm like, damn, that's demon time. She must have on. I liked it.
No, I'm still thinking about people trying to talk about you mess around with dudes on for free. I'm like they talk about they make 6 figures. I don't know about that one. They might, but end of the day, at what expense? There's like you can make 6 figures and have nothing to show for it, and there's quite a number of people who make 6 figures and have nothing to show for it. But it's really like there could be people with, you know, unpaid child support out here.
Yeah, that is true. I'm good.
Well, unpaid child support and, you know, 6 figures. And I feel like I got a problem with that. People talking about the women are being trifling. No, you gotta watch who you laying down with, bro. That's the honest to God truth. People talking about marriage as a business partnership. I don't think of it as that. And I know that sounds wrong, and I know a whole lot of people, they'd be like talking about divorce and stuff like that, or whether certain stuff, like if you have a house or you have this, or looking at certain states and stuff like that, because of equitable distribution, like stuff like that. I mean, you gotta think about certain stuff, but people talking about, I don't know. There's also a lot of people who really don't got it like that, talking about, yeah, when they get married, they're gonna have to have a prenup. You have no money. You have no money, bruh. So it really don't make sense. Like, I'm not the type of person to be talking about money or stuff that, like, I feel like a lot of people that talk about money really don't have the means to even attain money. Like, I'm not the type of person to be saying that, but it's just a lot of stuff. You know, you're not even putting in hard work and stuff like that, but you expect to make supposed all this money. I'm talking about like you gonna ride off in the sunset. No, I don't believe it. Like, if someone says a Lamborghini and stuff is a good investment, I mean, not really. For the price of Lamborghini, you know, you can basically triple your money. Not even triple, you can 10 times that amount of Lamborghini investing and stuff like that. Or invest in stocks and bonds and securities and stuff like that. It really wouldn't be that hard to do something like that, but at the same time, mutual funds and stuff like that, I'm not going to be sitting up here. And another issue that I kind of got, especially with business and these people giving this advice out here, is like the paywall, or doing the courses where people have like, they have all these special deals, like these teachers and stuff like that. I was watching a documentary or something about this person, really I feel like intelligent dude, but he kind of got in the loop, and then he kind of had like a rogue side of him, and somebody lost a lot of stuff behind him. They got like on his team or something like that, and then they start investing, and basically it was a Ponzi scheme in a way, and the person wound up getting like, what, 5 years or something like that, and then like a suspended sentence, and then had to do probation, something like that. And I feel like, I mean, that's ridiculous, but you know, who's really going to stop some of the stuff going on here? Man, this is why I'm done. Dude won't nowhere near me, bruh. And I just got eliminated. That's not their fault, because I understand they're in a fight, but oh my god, bruh. They're gonna get me. I know they're gonna get me. But I don't know, bruh. That guy was a tryhard. And I said, I eliminated somebody who was a tryhard the other day. I said, legitly, to my friend, I said, if I have to do all that just to realistically get a desired result, then I don't feel like I need to play the game. Yeah, he's gonna get me. 100%. But if I had to be serious about a few things, like especially topics, it's just like people talking about like the debacle or just getting in a debate with people, especially over the internet. I'm not getting in an argument with somebody about OnlyFans and stuff like that. I mean, the thing about it is that even if someone is making $250,000 and stuff like that off that, you still have to pay taxes. You still have to pay any outstanding debts and stuff that you have. And then some places that you go, you have to put your occupation and stuff like that too, especially when you travel. It's important. And then they ask you a certain amount of questions. Even in some places, they actually check your phone. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's actually true. Oh my god. He had him. That guy was he's good. And I mean, I'm good at this game. I just don't like this game. What they're doing to it now. Because in my opinion, it's just like this game goes through a meta. It's like you're not gonna have a good time enjoying playing this game if all things considered is that the game is not balanced. Like, I could sit up here and play this game maybe, I would say maybe a good 3 hours if everything was the way it was. Like at the beginning of the game, nobody was doing this stuff. They add the grappler back in this mythic. I lost the game the other day literally because the guy, he didn't even have any mats, and I feel like that's another problem that I got, is the grappler's mechanics is so cheap, and it's almost to a point where I feel like it's gotten ridiculous. How you can sit up here and spam a grappler to get on top. It don't even matter how many times you build. It just matters on how somebody catches you, and I feel like that's a ridiculous and that's a cheap tactic of how stuff is supposed to go. Like it's ridiculous. I remember someone was talking about, you know, a millionaire college dropout and stuff like that. That stories are like for minorities. I don't really know too many millionaire dropouts, to be completely honest. Relatively speaking, some of that stuff ain't gonna happen. Like, how many? Let's see, how many black hedge fund managers do you do? I know one. Cause my sister's godfather is a millionaire, not investment banker, hedge fund manager, but that's besides the point. He's not a dropout, he got his degree, but at the same time, there's not too many places that I feel like you're not going to get this job or be in a managerial position without, you know, at least a bachelor's or stuff like that. But then again, at some of these jobs, there's people with 2-year degrees, you know, making a decent amount of money. But I feel like it's just connections and who they want, or they fit a certain type of caliber or something like that. My grades and stuff in school was pretty decent, so. Don't need that. Another stuff that I think is kind of dumb, well not dumb, it's basically rooted in nothing, is people, I guess a lot of people are going towards this stuff, and they're talking about certain stuff like politics. Like I said, not really that person who really cares that much in politics, with all things being considered, because a lot of politicians, people don't take what politicians say at face value, and at the end of the day, a lot of groups, or more so politicians, they're not doing anything. They probably get an elected seat for maybe like 4 years and stuff like that, and then start with their what you call it, what's the exact word I'm looking for? Start their lobbying stuff. Or start a lobbying group for their political and stuff like that. And then, like, if I'm a company, and for instance, we're gonna go into a thing that's kind of dumb, I think. It's the fracking industry and the coal ash industry. Them jobs and stuff is not coming back, and then there's people getting denied benefits and stuff in healthcare, and when people try to mitigate some of their damages and their losses and stuff like that for getting black lungs and stuff like that, working and inhaling those hazardous materials and stuff like that, and different carcinogens and that type of thing, the people deny the stuff because all the preventative measures that they have, but it's still not safe. Just like even working in a pulp mill, you know, I think most people, that's what my grandfather did, and he died from lung cancer and stuff like that. And it didn't help that he smoked cigarettes and stuff like that. I think non-filtered cigarettes and stuff like that. So black lung 2 times over. But that's not the point. But I think today it's even worse, because I feel like people have a little bit too much power over what it is that you can do, like, or your claim stuff's not legitimate. When, like, there's a lot of stuff that could be considered occupational health and safety, violations, but think about it. If you're turning dollars and stuff, people gonna turn a blind eye. It's just like, it's pretty bad out here. I really do think it's pretty bad, especially at these factories. I remember someone was talking about, for instance, Ronald Reagan, American made, talking about the factory jobs and stuff is good. I was like, that person's smoking something. The seatbelt and stuff, like the seatbelts and what it used to be, you didn't have to wear a seatbelt back in the day. And there's a whole lot of cars and stuff that definitely should never have been out for a while. Like the Ford Pinto. You can search the Ford Pinto up. Them cars right there, if someone hit your car, the gas tank was at the back of the car. And if someone hit that back of the car, you would be blown up. You would be vaporized. You'd be a mess. And that was pretty bad. They had no type of regulatory board. And then there's a lot of stuff, consumer protection agencies and stuff like that actually tested stuff. And there's been a lot of recalls on certain cars too here recently. I remember someone talking about the 2005 Chevy Malibu and stuff like that. Them cars right there, I think it was featured on one of the things that the features of that car, if you got hit, your airbag, yeah, you would definitely be hurt. You would lose a couple teeth and some other stuff happen to you. Or you have lacerations, most definitely lacerations. And maybe other injuries, like maybe concussion and stuff like that, because it failed to deploy. But that's besides the point. And I was still thinking about people talking about the car industry. The car industry is not really coming back at all. Because you think about it, there could be cars and lots and stuff like that not even really turning cars at a good rate. You can even find some relatively new cars that didn't sell and stuff like that for cheap. But if you find a new car, relatively speaking, and it's between, I would say, maybe the $35,000 range of cars, maybe you have new 2017 cars and new 2018 cars and stuff like that. They're just sitting at these car dealerships and stuff like that. But if they don't get sold, they get sold. Well, they don't get sold. The company basically writes it off and sends it back to the manufacturer, and they crush. Well, they don't crush the car. Sometimes they do crush the car, and they take the doors and stuff off the car. Basically, unhinge the whole car, scrap it, and then use it for another component of the car. So, I don't know. The way I see it, businesses and stuff, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed about businesses and stuff like that. But I remember people talking about, you know, cars back then. They were muscle cars. They were stronger. The glass and stuff was much harder and stuff like that. People weren't going to get thrown through the windshield. They were. I'm still thinking about what you call it too, is that people, like, anytime that kids ride on the school bus and the people open the door up, listen, but I think what's a better detection of that is feeling a rhythm or basically the ground shaking when you're crossed over a train track. That makes a lot more sense than I feel like what people used to do, but that's another story for another day, I guess. But as far as we thinking about businesses and stuff like that, business in itself is one of those things where, I don't know, business encompasses a whole lot of other disciplines and stuff like that. And I don't understand how sometimes business people expect people to do certain stuff. Like, you want people to, especially like schools, for instance, people doing a job where they're recruiting under a minimal budget. That makes no sense. How can you, give somebody a budget on a skinny to travel to different places and stuff, like the hotels, people don't get comp gas mileage and stuff like that, and I don't understand that for a reason. There's no job security, especially at certain schools. Like, people going to 2 to 3 different schools at a certain period of time. Like, I told someone that, like, in a sense, there's a whole lot of stuff that happens at schools and universities. No school and university is perfect, but there's just a whole lot of stuff that people really just don't see the leadership. Like, especially some of these presidents at schools and then even administrators at high schools have a PhD in educational leadership, but there's no leadership actually at the school. The morale is low, at an all-time low. It has been for the last 4 years. And then think about it, if a graduation rate is low, like been in a continual decline over the last 3 years, your programs and stuff, you lose key programs, stuff like that. You have to cut back and do some budget saving or whatever, cost cutting measures and stuff like that. You can't allocate the money well. Your accounts receivable and stuff like that, you don't really have a good amount of that, like what you have going on, and you don't have a good track of accounts payable. You know, you owe out a lot of debt and stuff like that. It doesn't make that much sense. Like, for instance, a school, I'm gonna use for example, like a university. Alright, give you an example. A university and stuff like that builds a $700,000 football stadium, but they have a lot of outstanding debt. And let's say a particular investor comes in, but it's kind of contrary to what a school like does. Like for instance, like I'm gonna say it's a beer group. Let's say like a Budweiser, somebody comes in, right? And they'll say that we'll have what you call it, we'll endorse, we'll sponsor this stuff as long as you have a little small Budweiser print at the bottom of the school and stuff like that, or have some type of advertising for Budweiser on the school football stadium. Like you have a little poster, not poster, but the little thing on the fence and stuff like that. A little sign. It's not that much, but in order for you to turn a budget and stuff like that, a lot of reasons why. Let me simplify this. A lot of reasons why a lot of stuff gets people who need sponsorship is to undercut some of the costs. This is another one for L. So I'm gonna just what you call it, go ahead and bounce on out of here. But that's the point, like a lot of sponsorships and stuff like that. A lot of businesses and corporations get a lot of sponsorships and stuff like that. We're partnering with this to undercut some of the costs. But okay. Think about a football stadium and stuff. I know school and stuff like that cut out baseball program and stuff like that. We have a whole stadium, and a lot of people don't. I remember somebody said that Title IX. What is actually Title IX? Title IX is basically, it doesn't just only cover like sexual assault stuff like that, which is probably a big issue at universities and stuff like that. And it's a little bit more common, especially at frat houses and stuff like that, where groups and stuff like that, and especially mid-hazing and stuff like that. Schools get bad publicity, but let me go back to Title IX. Title IX basically is a thing where you have to have equal stuff. Like if I have a male athletic program like baseball, I gotta have softball. I have to have women's basketball, men's basketball, women's basketball, or stuff like that. Pretty much stuff like that, just simplified. But there's a lot of budget saving costs and stuff that people try to do, and it's really not good on paper. Like, it may sound good, but you really can't justify like minimizing a budget. Like, for instance, you can't have somebody like, especially going for school and trying to recruit it for school on what? People basically on their own with some of the costs. You can't expect somebody to go to, let's see, what's a typical thing for people who want to go to like universities, a hot spot where people go to. I know a school, their biggest focus is on people from like Chicago, Maryland, Virginia, areas like that, Newark, New Jersey, stuff like that. So basically, I know fights and stuff is cheap. Like you can probably get like before this coronavirus stuff, you probably get a doggone flight for like $100 with JetBlue. The bags and stuff like that, you're not gonna get a bag. A carry-on, you're not gonna get a carry-on for no 100. That's probably gonna be like another $45 if being completely honest. It depends on what you packing, but and clothes and whatever else you got you carry on. But that's besides the point. The budgets and stuff that people try to do is really a cost-saving measure, and then amid other stuff. I remember I went to a restaurant the other day, and I've been there in a while, just because, I mean, it's a pandemic going on. I sat down in there, stuff like that. It was a little bit different. And instead of them having, you know, the typical stuff, I can understand. But I kind of feel bad for the some of the other people who've been out there and trying to work and then trying to feed the family. Is that, you know, I don't think restaurants really need 6 managers and stuff, and they got it down to 2. And then the service at restaurants and stuff is terrible. I mean, take it however you want, but let me get my mode. They're not doing bad this game. Let me get back to what I'm saying. I feel like another issue that a lot of schools and stuff have too is that they have so many people not doing their like job, not even job really. Like for instance, if I'm out here supposed to do certain stuff, like it shouldn't take over a ridiculous period of time like for stuff that needs to be done. Like for instance, cleaning off the sidewalks, cleaning the facades and stuff like that for the building. There's no reason why you should be seeing rust or dirt, like this dirt. Years of buildup of dirt behind stuff. And the thing is, like, a lot of schools and stuff like that are pretty much going to take a hit with this coronavirus stuff. Because where I see it, you would have money allocated for certain stuff. Like, okay, if my target is 700 students, like if you go to a private university and stuff like that, which I do, I don't really pay any money to go there. Like the school I go to, it's probably like a good, I don't know, $2,000 for me to go. So I don't really pay that much to go to school at all. At least my parents don't pay any money because my grades are pretty decent. The school was kind of cheap, so it was not my first choice for school. And then the other school that I almost went to, but I'm kind of glad I didn't go to because it's just terrible. Like, for instance, one of the biggest problems I think schools got is that a lot of schools are really trying to sell people the illusion of that they're getting a good value, and sometimes you are getting a good value, but at what expense? Now, what I mean by that is like, okay, if I'm sitting up here paying what the school that I almost went to, it was pretty much in the same ballpark as the other school, just a little bit more stuff. I didn't have to pay for books at all. It was 45 minutes in a relatively rural area. Didn't have that much stuff. Didn't have that many, I guess, in a sense, minority students for one. It was like what you call it. I forgot exact. It was like a Methodist school, and it was just like, in all honesty, I didn't take the thing at face value. Like, it was a good deal, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, you can't expect somebody to be like, oh yeah, this is top choice. Like for instance, the school by itself was like I think it was like $29,000 a year. But what I was getting, it was basically covering most of my expenses in the books. However, I think one of the biggest problems that basically was a turnoff is that you're out in the middle of nowhere. The access to, it's not like a college town, like it has stuff going on. The place is pretty much ran down. And it didn't help by like it being in an area like impacted by a hurricane, so, or a tropical storm. And it had a whole lot of trees and stuff still. There's even still wreckage and stuff from the thing that's been a good 4 years, and my state hasn't really done anything about it. Relatively speaking, in some rural areas like Lumberton, what's another place? Not gonna name off the top of my head. I mean Fayetteville. Fayetteville's kind of, I don't know. Fayetteville's not. There's not that much going on out there, and that's the honest to God truth. And that brings to my other school. And the other school that I got, it basically gave me a decent deal, but the selling point of it, I wasn't sold on the school. I was 100%, like, I was not committed. Like, I was not committed to wasting my time 4 years. And then, like, I don't know. It's just like a lot of stuff with school. I like school, but then again, I have my points where I'm just like, this don't make that much sense. Like, you can't justify moving like what 45 minutes to an hour, and it's not even really an hour considering the traffic and stuff that could go wrong with that. Like, you could have accidents and logistics. The other place that I was potentially thinking about going to for school, like when I graduated in 2017, what was the issue with the school? What was another prominent issue with the school? I would say a lot of schools and stuff like that are kind of underfunded because of the fact they're not state supported. And at the same time, you know, you can't have presidents from schools, I'll say, you can't have like what, well, not even 6, you can't have really a certain amount of presidents that are short around, like, you know, a less than I'd say a 7-year turnaround. Like, you can't have 4 presidents in the last 7 years and expect to tell me that you're a successful back to what I'm saying after I get this loot. The burst is not that bad, but I mean, I might keep it because I was actually not with it. But besides the point, like a lot of schools and stuff that I thought were halfway decent in a sense, The reviews are pretty much the nail in the coffin for it. Not the reviews, cause I mean, there's a lot of schools and stuff that wouldn't survive without a few different other people. Like, if a school's target in order to stay profitable is between 600 and 700, then they have like a program where they allow college students, not college students, but high school students to take classes with actual college students, and the average thing they're getting from a school or university, what they're paying per student, the actual school system, but it's very limited quantity and it's basically a lottery system, is $40,000. The average student going to a university, well, like a private school where I'm currently at, is basically probably around, I'll say, the $27,000 range and stuff like that. And besides, the way that people pretty much get in early college is a certain turn off, not turn off, but like, you basically, if you don't do it, you have to do it with a certain time frame, allotted amount of time. There's a lottery system. If I don't do something in a certain amount of time frame, I'm not going to get the desired result that I want. Like, bounce out that. So let me go back to what I'm saying. The average cost for students be like, what, $40,000 for the school system. They're paying that. There's only a total of like maybe, let's say, like, it's even certain other stuff that you can get college credit, but it's ridiculous. It's not the exact same. You're doing that at a high school, but it's like IB. I went to IB school. But a lot of schools and stuff are not accepting IB because the IB is a thing, they don't have to accept it. Like, you could have done good at a school and they still won't accept it. I'm gonna leave them alone. I'm gonna let them kill themselves, but that's not the point. Like, if I'm a university and I'm trying to, like, I know by having an early college program for certain schools and stuff like that, that's keeping the school afloat, the early college students, because like, if enrollment and stuff goes down and there's different accrediting bodies and stuff like that at school, there was like a school and all relatively a little time ago, it was like a black liberal art school for all, just basically women only. They pretty much receive like national news, especially among black schools. I go to a black school, like university, a liberal art school, and basically how I feel about it is that the school, they had a lot of presidents, and it was basically another, it could have been a lot horrible than what it was. They lost their accreditation, and once you lose your accreditation, it basically means the death of your university. Like, your programs, like, for instance, if someone had like a nursing program and it's not meeting up to like a state's board or certifications and stuff like that, that program stuff could be pulled at any point in time, and basically any student who basically went there, all their classes before and stuff would be I would say valid, but then again not valid, because certain schools is like, they don't accept, you have to retake some of your classes over again, like your credits and stuff wouldn't transfer. So that's something to think about. Like, if someone's a junior, I wish I had a sniper, but I don't. We just need to stay over here. Oh yeah, they're really gonna go for it. I got their back. But a lot of schools, like in my honest opinion, they have a whole lot of negative press and stuff going on. But the school, it was a all women school. They got a whole lot of CEOs from companies and stuff to donate because tax write-off and stuff like that. And what it did is basically save it in a sense because they needed money. They needed like a $3.7 million grant or something like that. They didn't get that because it was already going under, and they weren't like a state-supported school. Come here, Esteban. Estupido. Esteban Estupido. That's his name. Here we go. How? Oh, it's I won't say cheating and hacking because there's no way. I know they were cheating. Cause I was doing good that match. I don't know, bro. But, like, for instance, there's a lot of schools, and then another thing that I don't understand about certain schools, they want to get all this pity party stuff, like, what is it? A lot of schools and stuff like that, you gotta be careful, especially when you're a college student and stuff like that. It's that you gotta check your price on, like, the tuition and fees. They're gonna go up. They're gonna lower, they're gonna go up. And what doesn't make sense, in my honest opinion, is your tuition and fees are going up. They're supposed to cover something. Like, for the longest period of time, that my school did not even have relatively a, what is it? They didn't have a student center. The student center that we had was connected into a cafeteria, and we didn't even have a bookstore. We had an online bookstore. So I used to get like $500 from the school to cover the cost of the books, and that was a really selling point for me to go there because I got $500, and then I got some money from outside scholarships to cover for books. The books that I got, I didn't even use. A majority of the things that I got, I didn't use. But now my school is gone. Like I said with the other day, is that I got what is it? What's the name of the program? Like I said, you know, the Huffington books or whatever. It's not them. Businesses and stuff literally, and corporations literally sell products and programs and stuff. they're selling programs and books to school. Like they're having this they're starting out to get into software too. So there's my school is partnering with this thing. It's called Cengage, and they are horrible. They are horrible. You spend $200 and like what? Almost $250 for a program. You have to basically spend like what? 3 to 4 hours to even get a hold of these people, because their whole customer support and the way they operate is built off lies and deceit, and they're preying on these schools go to a format where, okay, the student, you know, has to pay upwards of like what, $200. So if I'm paying $200 for a book and stuff like that, and you get access to all other books you need for your classes rather, you shouldn't even be able to even try to sell that to your student. I don't think. We're talking about all students. You want to go here, you want to do well in class, you don't have to have the book. That's the smallest thing that I think is instrumental in whether people passing out the books. And I believe that wholeheartedly. How? Trash. I might leave this one just with, I mean, I don't want to be in here any longer than I want to, so. I'll be back. I'll get something to drink. Ginger ale. Alright, so let me get into the meat and potatoes. Oh no, it's not them. There we go. My bad. It's McGraw-Hill. We had McGraw-Hill. McGraw-Hill decided we're gonna package a lot of stuff, and a lot of these companies and stuff like that, they try to sell their biggest customer in school systems, and then I feel like I have a problem with that. Just off the fact is that they're having a program marketing this stuff to school systems. Like, we don't really even have new books. Like, with the books when I was in school, if we're being completely honest, I'm honest, as honest as I can be. We had hand-me-down textbooks, and I went to a predominantly, white school. I went to a predominantly white school. We had hand-me-down textbooks from 1997. In the school that I went to, our graduation rate was like, it was like 87%, but a decline. I think now our graduation rate is 82%. And I know why is pretty much going down. The principal that I had when I was there, he left, and there was a new principal. There's a whole lot of other stuff, but besides the point. So, back to what I'm saying. The hand-me-down textbooks that we got, the textbooks were in a dilapidated state. They were nasty. You know, they're from 1997. They had people's stuff in there, and we had some textbooks from 2003, outdated information. You look at the textbook, and you see the the capital of India, not the capital, but you see the stuff. It had Bombay. It's not Bombay anymore. It's Mumbai. It was ridiculous. You got outdated information. They tried to move stuff from the They tried to move stuff to Google Classroom. They spent money with Google. We got a new grant to get iPads and stuff like that. Students and stuff were stealing iPads. You would be assigned an iPad and stuff like that. You put it back in there. I'm not the type of person to, steal or take something that don't belong to me. I've always been taught that way. You want something, you earn it legitly, you buy it, you work hard for it, and then you don't have to worry about anything. So that's just kind of how I was raised. But that's not the point. The biggest issue that I think that I had with like school, and more important like the school system, is that yeah, all these budget cuts. You don't know where this money and stuff is being allocated to, and why. Information and stuff was not even being really, even at the school board meeting. Some of the stuff that popular stuff that they would talk about budget, plans and stuff like that, budget cuts, and then the plan for teachers to get paid. I believe teachers should get paid a little bit more, but then again, that's not every teacher. Some people can't teach. They don't have the personality. They don't have the willingness in their heart to see students and stuff like that do anything. There's some people are just there to get paid. I'm not against that, but when you're in a way a douchebag and stuff like that, you don't care about the student. I admit some stuff is on the student, but you gotta have a personality and stuff like that. We're spending 8 hours in school basically doing, like, at high school, I'll call it for what it is. It was just BS busy work. And then the school that I went to, I feel like a majority, some of the people wind up going to a 2-year community college and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with that. But it's like, my school system did a whole lot of stuff that I pretty much didn't agree with. Like, get this guy. Dummy. I'm not that bad at Fortnite. I just be talking too much. But I'm going on kind of real issues or real problems I got with this school stuff. It's like, we have a lot of superintendents. I think another issue that I got with school systems, especially school districts now, is that we have too many, you know, issues. And then the biggest issue why schools and stuff not getting like the support they need is because you have horrible, I think the board of commissioners, pretty much anywhere, a bunch of crooks, and being completely honest. They're, you know, the school budget, you do all these budget cuts, and then the curriculum, it's unreal how much curriculum and stuff that you have. It's not even learned. The thing about that made me mad about school is that, okay, let me explain how my school did stuff. So the program that the program that my school was making at least money, getting a lot of money allocated from. That's what you got to realize. Certain stuff, schools get more money by having these programs and stuff like that, or pushing some type of curriculum, like Common Core. That's why they're pushing Common Core for the longest period of time. I don't know what it is now, but I know Common Core, there was some type of kickback to teach something. And I know my mom was mad when I was in, what, like 4th grade. And they taught me how to do some math called the lattice method. It was multiplication. I did not know how to multiply without boxes. You draw boxes, you put squares, and you do the math and stuff like that. And you can still get the same answer. My mom did not like that at all. My mom was mad. Like, why are they teaching you how to do that? Well, this is how I learned how to do it. And that was just discourse. I know my mom was mad. But that's besides the point. So, back to what I was saying about the IB stuff. So with school, I put it at this. We had this schedule that we had. It was 8A B day. We didn't used to have that. We used to have four classes a day the whole semester, and then we switched. You didn't have the same class, and I think you could take upwards of 7 classes, but mainly I took like 4. And then senior year, I only took like, what, 2 classes a day. So I was pretty much done. I didn't have to do that much. My sister was mad because she didn't do that. She spent the whole thing. I really wasn't in school. I was only in school a certain period of the day, and I was at home. Got lunch and I was at home. That was lag. Come on, bro. Don't let them game at me, bro. Thanks. But besides the point. So what my school decided, we're gonna move this school to a schedule, to the whole schedule of 8A B day stuff. There was only a total of 20 kids in that program. 20 kids, and they changed the whole schedule and the way stuff was set up for the program. And the days became longer. They became longer, and we won't really get that much curriculum. So I would do better in the math class that it was every day instead of every other day. So basically, my school schedule was like, we would have classes every day for 9 weeks. When you go to 8A B day stuff, you only get 4.5 weeks of instruction time at the expense of the student. That made no sense. And then you had to take standardized tests and EOC stuff. And then there's a lot of stuff that, like, especially another thing I didn't like too, is some of this testing that we do, like the SAT. SAT, I did okay on it. To me, it's not even really an indication how college ready you are. It's just more so something. If I had not done some of this stuff like expanded math and stuff like that, now, like I said, we were only in class like 4.5 weeks when it should have been 9, a math class. I never really did bad in math class, but I didn't necessarily do terrible. Like, I mainly got B's and C's and stuff like that. But in college, like I said, I got an A. My first time in the math class, algebra, basically middle school math. Right, it's an introductory math class, but it's difficult. You have to do integers. You have to do a lot of other stuff. Yeah, I got done before and stuff. How long have I been streaming? Not that long. I might play a few more games, but like I said, you're only getting 4.5 weeks of instruction time. So by having that 4.5 weeks of instruction time, instead of having tests, we would have tests and quizzes every week. But what didn't make sense Monday was learning the concept. Wednesday we was getting prepared for something. We didn't even have enough instruction time to do what we needed to do there. But by Friday, what didn't make sense to me is by Friday, we were expected to have the concepts and stuff done, and we were actually behind. And you know what I don't get about high school too? What they did, especially some of the teachers that I had, is they had a whole planning period, and we didn't get anything accomplished. A whole planning period to do what they needed to do. The assignments and grades and stuff was way behind. Another problem that they had too, a lot of teachers and stuff to get reviewed when with these tests and stuff, like based off these standardized tests and stuff. And this school stuff is that basically at the end with the standardized testing that we had was basically what we basically had was a test that probably had maybe a total of maybe like 25 questions, and then maybe I'm gonna say out of it would be maybe 8 questions and stuff. Some of the stuff doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's not going to affect you. It's just field test stuff to see if you actually cover the topic. And most of the time that I saw this stuff on this test, we didn't learn. We didn't get to cover it. We did not get to cover it. And that happened in my last semester at school when I took AFM. AFM was this little thing in North Carolina where you haven't taken all the required maths, but you need one more math in order to do what you need to do. So I took AFM and they had the final, and it was maybe like 8 or so questions up there that counted, and they were field tests. And then they have some type of other scale or some type of other thing going on where you see certain type of questions, a certain type of whether you expand on this formula or stuff like that. I think it's interesting. P for pressure. He could have got me, but ridiculous. But like I said about school stuff, the schooling and stuff that we didn't make sense. Like we got 4.5 weeks of instruction time instead of getting the traditional 9 weeks, just because of the money behind the IB program. Did pretty much put more money in the pocket, and you had to get those classes in there just to relatively have the program to say that there's money behind it. That's why you see a lot of programs and stuff like that. You don't understand it, and there's not that many people inside of it. It's because there's money behind it. Like if you go to a school and their thing is technology and they have like a program where they're doing certain stuff, like the school that supposedly one of my second base schools, it's like 15 minutes. That school is terrible. I think it's like a D rated school. And they have a lot of gang issues, gang fights, kids bringing guns to school, people, and I don't even live in a bad neighborhood or something like that, but I live in a radius I basically live at 4 cities basically, in a local area, because it's on the outskirts of a place, and it's between 4 different places. If I turn one direction, I'm basically, it makes sense. I'm basically in 4 cities, because I live on the outskirts of a city. Within itself, the place that I live closest near is like 10 minutes. I'll be there. Then the other 2 places I live 10 minutes from there too. So it's kind of a small place, but then again, the downtown for me is only like 15 minutes, so it's not that bad, relatively speaking. Man, this guy. That's why I don't land spots like that. The dude stole my gun. He followed me. My own teammate. Then took another gun. He already had a shotgun. Took the shotgun. Had 2 shotguns. What are you gonna do with 2 shotguns, pal? Ridiculous. But besides, Red Wednesday. I feel like one of the biggest problems that I got too is that why did 3? Well, I can go 5. I'll say it's a 4. Well, one of the biggest issues that I feel like schools and stuff have is that you're trying to go to all these different platforms, and students may not have the means of accessing some of this information. Like, another problem that I had with school, especially with my math class, is that we didn't really learn anything, relatively speaking. Like, we had teachers pulling out videos of other teachers teaching, and then they're going to stuff and telling us to watch Khan Academy. Khan Academy is great, but Khan Academy is not the can-all and be-all of actually doing what you need to do. Like, if I'm sitting up here supposed to be learning a particular concept within really a short period of time, between 5 days, school is 5 days a week, and I think that's pretty ridiculous. Well, I think in a sense it's good, because I mean, what else we gonna be doing? But at the same time, the way school, the 8 hours, I don't agree with that. I don't even spend that much time in the classroom in college, but it's a lot more. I don't do as much work as I did in high school, relatively speaking, and that's not a cap. Now, there has been a few problems that I've had in school between both, with short turnaround times, but I'm a little bit more prepared, a little bit more ready for certain stuff. like for instance, going to school, especially high school, you're waking up at like around 7 o'clock. My school starts 7:25, so I woke up at 6 every day, from 6 basically to 2:30. I was not happy about that whatsoever, and you think about that. I had teachers and stuff forcing their hand, or forcing their giving you all sorts of type of crap that you know that you shouldn't have been doing. I 110% know that. I'm not landing in places where dummies going. I might just play solos, bro. Solos is where I'm made at, so I'm gonna go solos. But back to what I'm saying. So basically, what the school thing is that your whole goal, in a sense, of what you're trying to do, you're trying to get the curriculum in. You're trying to basically get concepts in within a limited time frame. So it really doesn't matter about how much you're like, how many concepts you're supposed to get. You're supposed to get the concept, and if you don't get the concept, it's on you. And that's kind of what was expressed. That's at parent-teacher stuff, but at, like, conferences, and I have a problem with parent-teacher conferences too. Is that the biggest issue? You can paint anything, regardless if it's based in fact or not. Like, I had a teacher say that, what you call it, like I don't have ADD, and since I was in 2nd grade, I've been diagnosed with ADD, stuff like that. You can't tell me that I don't have ADD when in my medical records I do have ADD. That doesn't make any sense. That teacher said that I've been faking them out all along. Yeah, nah. The thing about it is that I remember one time, like, we had this school awards thing. Didn't make any sense. I got 100 on my world history exam. Nobody in the school got 100. I was the only person to get 100 on that exam. Honest to God, I was the only person to get 100 on the exam. In my class, in my 9th grade class, world history, I was the only person that got 100 on that exam. And they got this little teacher award thing. I didn't get it. And my grades was good. Like, I had a 3.25 GPA at that time. But basically, my high school GPA it wasn't bad, it wasn't good, so. My high school GPA was a 2.8, and that is not bad because it's considered like B- average, but that's not my GPA now. Dummy. Like I said, I don't think you should. Anytime that you have to play like tremendously hard, yeah. Teabag. I shouldn't have to do all that just to win a gunfight on Fortnite, bro. That's ridiculous. You waste almost all your mats for one fight. Ridiculous. But back to what I'm saying about the school stuff. Schools and stuff like that. Especially private schools. Private schools and stuff is not doing that well either. If we could be completely honest and stuff like that, like private schools, the testing and stuff that they do, and you know, sometimes private schools are free, but it's a lottery system. Once again, a lot of stuff is based off of a variety of factors, and it could be good and it can be bad, but the majority of the time, it's just not really going in people's favor. Like, the curriculum. Like, I know my sister went to a school for maybe a total of 10 days of private school. For 10 days, because she didn't like it. And the curriculum, this teacher was horrible. Horrible. I remember my sister was trying so hard. This guy could not teach. He could even teach a doggone... He couldn't even teach anybody. I'll just put it that way. He couldn't teach anybody. How? I might play Mortal Kombat and try to learn the character, because after this I think I'm about done. But that's the point. Like, I might try to learn how to play Johnny Cage. That's the point. But like I'm saying, like, for instance in school, like, especially in my sister's case, this guy was terrible. You had to pay for a textbook specifically made by the teacher. You had to spend like $40. It was a little plastic book, held together by like some material made by like a plastic straw, a little harder version of a plastic straw, and stuff like that. And it wasn't made out of plastic straw; it was just made out of plastic. But in it was in a coiled plastic thing, held together by a few things. And so the curriculum and stuff that you had was basically made by the teachers. You had tests. I remember every day that my sister got home, she would seriously be up to at 11:30 at night. I kid you not. And at the expense and stuff like that, it was a lottery. The school, and let me tell you about the dumbest thing about this school. The dumbest thing about this school is it had like an honor code, right? You could even talk about a test. You could even say, I understand not talking about a test, like the information on the test, but you could, like, if a friend or something asked you about a test, well, how was the test? Was the test hard? You could even say that. You could get a suspension or a demerit just behind telling somebody, oh, the test and, you know, the thing was hard. That was stupid, bro. 110% stupid. And you really didn't gain anything. I can't catch a break, bro. I'm about to be off this junk in a second. If like I'll give it a game and a half. But I'll give it a game. Better than that, I mean the stream. But another issue that I think that schools have too is just like you go there. Some of the stuff is not designed to be fun. It's not designed. If you go to school for 8 hours and you're not learning, I think a lot of people say it's the student's fault. I don't think it's 100% the student's fault. It's a combination of factors. Because you could be doing everything it is possible for yourself. You could be trying to get into all the tutoring that you have. You know, another point that brings up, you can't go to tutoring. You cannot get tutoring from a teacher who cannot teach you, even in the classroom, and then go after school and expect you to learn something. Oh my God. That brings me to my third point. That is one of the issues that I had too, and my sister had when she was at this private school. The private school was basically, it had a limited class. It maybe had like, depending on, it was kind of a large class, like 800, and they were very, they had a whole lot of stuff. They had way too many clubs and stuff like that. They just had too many clubs. And the thing that they did that didn't make any sense, they were governed by their own set of rules. And then the thing about it is that some of these people behind these school stuff, they have no idea what they're doing. On paper, sure. Well, on paper, sure, but it doesn't mean that you know the ins and outs and how to run a school, an institution. As employee morale and stuff is low, you know, your kids and stuff are not even really learning stuff. You're ranking, not the school that my sister went to, it was pretty up there. But the curriculum and stuff, and the fact that you had to buy something, buy a course, a packet of information from a teacher who couldn't even teach, did not make any sense. They didn't say it well. And the most dumbest thing that happened is that when my teacher, not my teacher, when my sister went to the school, and I don't know how that it happened, and it makes sense, is that, like my sister got a call, or my parents got a call from this person, from this truancy officer for missing school. And my sister and I never missed school. We never missed school. It's a rarity for me. Like, I probably, at the total time of me being out of school, I probably only been out of school, like, what, 3 days for my whole time from kindergarten to, high school. 3 days. Cause I really got sick. The only time that I really, got out of school and stuff like that, even if I had a dentist appointment, I was going back to school. Even if it was like 12, I was going back to school. I get checked out and then checked back in. That was a shotgun. Besides the point, I never really missed school at all, not even school. College is a different story. I mean, I don't like the place I'm at 100%, but I mean, it's doable. It's not that difficult. I don't really have to go through that much, and it's basically at a point where I feel like I'm actually learning something, and I'm getting, I guess, a halfway, well, I'll say a decent education. I'll put it at that. At basically at almost no cost, really. Two-for-one combo. So back to what I was saying about the school and stuff. Like, the schooling, it's a game that you really want to play. Okay, Bob. Dummy. Lay down. Oh, I see you. Lay down. But back to what I'm saying, like with school stuff. School, the thing about school that I kind of didn't understand was like how you basically went from a certain schedule until like, you know, you're not used to, and then taking a course load of stuff that you know you're gonna be brain dead. Like, bruh, you're gonna be brain dead by a lot of stuff. Or you're gonna be bored. Not bored, but you're going to definitely, you're not gonna be as attentive. Okay. Well, I could find this coward. I see you. I'm in my bag now. I'm telling you, solos is where I'm at. Like, I don't feel like I should have to do that much. Like, in order for me to play Fortnite and get enjoyment out of it, I shouldn't have to do all this. Just to play it, relatively speaking, nah. No way. should probably get out of here. Stun granado. After somebody play some Mortal Kombat, even though I've been talking junk about it. Hypocrisy, but you can go up here. Spot. You know, like Shao Kahn with his doggone outfit on. Probably should have destroyed some of this stuff, but who knows. Oh. Okay. Stand still. I 110% should have this type of thing. Sit your dumb ass. Fuck. I don't need that much. This will get me out some sticky situations though. Hold on. Nah. I realize I actually do need that. Oh shit. On a bad spot. Ah, I got pins. Well, I hope y'all enjoy because I'm out. That was bull, but I hope y'all guys enjoy. I didn't do bad last game, so peace.